That's what you are first class.
Oh, sí. زعمنا القمر. اي والله الحمد لله شرفتينا والله انا بعدين ان شاء الله ان شاء الله ان شاء الله والله هناك كنت حاطه شو اسمه لا انا فاتت زوجي قاعد يجيب لسه العقل ما يقدرش بعد لا ان شاء الله يا شوف ان شاء الله
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can we please have everyone seated? We're about to start, inshallah.
Where do we sit?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There's still people talking. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah tonight, first of all, let's talk about today. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, we put together Islamic Center of South Bay with the help of PMO, put together a beautiful program. We brought speakers from all over Southern California, and they talked about how to be a Muslim in today's society and talk about self-identity in the United States of America. It was a beautiful program. If you were here, you saw and you witnessed how beautiful it was. And if you missed it, then I'm sorry you missed it, but we have it streamed online. You can go to our YouTube channel and check it all out, inshallah. We're going to start tonight's program by a beautiful recitation of our very own Qari, Sheikh Anas Daghameen, with his beautiful recitation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers and sisters, respected community, Jazakumullah khairan for coming today and participating in this gathering. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who gathered us today, to gather us again, inshaAllah, in the Jannah with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us on the day of judgment and to be under his shade. Ameen, Allahumma ameen. Inshallah, I will be reciting from Surah Fatir. Inshallah, I don't know who is going to do the translation. If not, just forgive us for that. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية يرجون تجارة لن تبور ليوفيهم أجورهم ويزيدهم من فضله إنه غفور شكور والذي أوحينا إليك من الكتاب هو الحق مصدقا لما بين يديه إن الله بعباده لخبير بصير ثم أورثنا الكتاب الذين اصطفينا من عبادنا فمنهم ظالم لنفسه ومنهم مقتصد ومنهم سابق بالخيرات بإذن الله ذلك هو الفضل الكبير جنات عدن يدخلونها يحلون فيها من أساور من ذهب ولؤلؤا ولباسهم فيها حرير وقالوا الحمد لله الذي أذهب عنا الحزن إن ربنا لغفور شكور الذي أحلنا دار المقامة من فضله لا يمسنا فيها نصب ولا يمسنا فيها لغوب صدق الله العظيم. جزاك الله خيرا for listening.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Also, my brother, Jazakallah khairan. I wanted to say something real quick. If you see this beautiful gathering and you still want to complain about this gathering, that something is not done right, I just want to let you know that this gathering was done by everyone who volunteered. Nobody was here was paid. It was all out of love from volunteers. So before you actually complain about it, ask yourself first, was I here to help out with putting this together? This is a volunteer, this is a masjid, no one's getting paid. So look at this beautiful thing, was all done by individuals who took off their time and have been planning for the past month and a half to put this event together. And especially thanks to the PMO. Next, inshallah, we're going to have our past Masjid an-Nur weekend school students who graduated and our current Masjid an-Nur students. They're going to be putting a presentation for all of us. And please, right after, and please keep the weekend school teachers in your dua.
Your baby? Huh? Baby boy? Girl.
It's the first time I see him.
Zainab? I'm gonna move.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
يوسف يوسف
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah and everyone for supporting the weekend school. My name is Brother Rayhan Khan. I grew up at this masjid. I attended weekend school when I was their age. Some of my teachers are here, Sister Razia, Sister Sakina. And alhamdulillah, what I want to quickly say is that if it wasn't for the masjid, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to grow up like this. And one thing that is a tradition within our religion is that we respect the people that teach us. The Islam, the knowledge that we get, all comes from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It was given to a different teacher, then another teacher, then another teacher, then our teacher, then to us. So we respect our teachers as much as we respect the knowledge that comes to us. And with that, we would like to hand the mic off to some of our previous graduates, and they can tell you a little about what this masjid has done for them.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Zubair Rahman, and I'm a graduate of the Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School of the year 2016. I nearly attended this weekend school for 10 years of my life, and alhamdulillah, it has become like a second home to me. I've gained so much knowledge from this school. For example, last summer, I would not be able to complete all my steps of Hajj without the knowledge I've gained from this school. And I make dua for each and every one of these kids that hopefully that they'll gain the same knowledge that I did. Jazakumullah khair.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Warda. I was a graduate from the year 2008, so one of the older ones here, but still as knowledgeable. This masjid has been a place of comfort and growth for many of us. I was lucky enough to be surrounded by so many amazing people. Oh, sorry. And no matter where we are in life today, we always have the masjid and the weekend school to come back to. And it's really hard for Muslims like us to find that nowadays, since we're such a minority in the regular society. But alhamdulillah, I'm really blessed with the community here, and I will always be here no matter what.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Sana Sinda. I graduated from weekend school in 2014. I've been at this masjid for most of my life, and not only have I gained a lot of Islamic knowledge, I've also gained a sense of community and also a place to come whenever I had questions that I needed answered. But most importantly, what this masjid has given me is love for my religion, and all the lessons I've learned here are ones that I will never forget. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Zaina Sinda. I graduated in 2017. From this masjid, I learned how to live my day-to-day life as a Muslim and as Islamically as possible. Without this masjid, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mubashir Siddiq. I'm a graduate of the Al-Noor Weekend School from the year 2015. And I can say that the Al-Noor Weekend School has taught me a lot of things and has helped me become a better Muslim, and has instilled many good values within me, and has taught me how to respect other people and get respect back from them.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Ozair Elias. I'm a graduate of the year 2009. When I first attended the Al-Noor Weekend School, my knowledge in regards to Islam was very little. Now I can, say I know a lot, and I'm very proud of that. Another thing about the school is that I think I can take away is the infectious, hardworking attitude of all the teachers and staff who are there. And you really just get the sense that you want to work hard as well, whether it's learning how to read the Quran or trying to become a doctor, an engineer, or whatever you hope to aspire to be in the future.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Atif Sheikh, and I graduated from the weekend school in 2012. What the masjid gave me was a place to express my Islam and a space to practice being Muslim. For so many kids in the United States, you spend 5 days of your week going to American public school. And American public school isn't really a place where you can really express your Islam and express your identity as a Muslim. But even coming to the masjid 2 days a week to just practice being Muslim really helped me out in my life, and it solidified my identity as a Muslim, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum. After graduating from Islamic Weekend School in 2015, I can positively say that it has shaped my future in many ways. The weekend school gave me the opportunity to learn in a formal Islamic environment based on Islamic core values. It also made me into a strong and disciplined student by strengthening my studying skills. I've created many great relationships and long-lasting bonds with the teachers, staff, and my peers. These experiences will help me as I continue my education. The weekend school also set the foundation for me later becoming a hafiz by teaching me the Quran and Tajweed. I hope I can come back and provide the future generations with the experiences that I had and teach them many of the things that I learned when I was a student at the weekend school. And I'll leave you with an ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Those who spend their wealth in Allah's way by night and by day, secretly and publicly, they will have their reward with their Lord. And no fear will there be concerning them, nor will they fear. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Moiz Qureshi, and I was a graduate of the Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School in the year 2016. Now, when I first started attending the weekend school, I was a very shy, insecure child. I didn't have that many people to talk to and had no basic Islamic or Quranic knowledge or skills whatsoever prior to being there. But in the years following, I grew up to be a very confident and outgoing person with many improvements in my Quran recitation and Tajweed and a lot of great friends that I've made over here, and I couldn't thank anyone but the weekend school for that.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Saad Farouk, and I graduated in the year 2013. I want to thank all the teachers from Islamic school, and one thing that taught me is that I built a relationship with this masjid, and after I graduated, I kept making that relationship even stronger. So I hope everyone can get a strong relationship with everyone, inshallah. So keep donating, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I didn't hear you correctly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good. My name is Alan Musaddaq, and I graduated in the Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School in the year 2018, just recently. And it's really, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really built a relationship between all of these kids, and it really influences a person to come to the masjid and all this. And we always try to sum up these fundraisers in so many words during these speeches, but I'm going to try to sum it up in just 2 words. Without you, because without you, we would not be here. Without you, your children, this next generation will not be coming here to get an education on this deen. And without you, this masjid will not be standing very proudly and tall and strong during these walls. These walls are very strong because this community is strengthening it every single day. And I'm very, very happy that all of you guys are here. And thank you to everyone who came here. Thank you to the teachers. Thank you to the board for their amazing effort. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed and I recently graduated from the Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School 2018. What I have learned is companionship between friends.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Atif Kara, and one thing that I learned from the Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School is how to succeed through teamwork.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Baza Ahmed. I am also a graduate of Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School of the year 2018, and I'm going to be reciting two ayahs from the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت فيقول رب لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق وأكن من الصالحين ولن يؤخر الله نفسا إذا جاء أجلها والله خبير بما تعملون صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ami Karen. I'll be giving the translation. And spend in the name of Allah from what we have provided you before death approaches one of you. And he says, my Lord, if only you would have delayed me for a brief time so I could give to charity and become the righteous. But never Allah denies a soul when its time has come, and Allah is acquainted with what you do.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Faris Manaur, and today I have a poem dedicated to the weekend school. Stay keen on your deen. Keep it routine. Believe in the unseen. Stay away from the obscene and unclean. Your heart will be serene. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all my teachers and principals of the weekend school. You have all worked so hard toward educating and transforming us from raw to mature and sensible individuals. Also, a big thank you to everyone for coming and supporting the Islamic Center of South Bay. Jazakallah khairan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Adifa. I am 7 years old. Wow, those graduates look so nice. My friends and I will graduate in a few years just like them. Please donate to our masjid so that way we will grow up to be good Muslims and have a bright future. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Fatima and I am 8 years old. Please support our fundraiser and donate generously so we can learn about Quran and Islam and also play with our friends in a safe environment. Help us to become better Muslims. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Hiva. I am 7 years old. We're here today to support the masjid so we can build our playgrounds, build our parking lots, and get our furniture. I'll do my part. Please do your part. Jazakumullahu khairan. Please support the weekend school. Please support the weekend school. Please support the masjid. Please don't take
Okay, brothers and sisters, inshallah, we're going to have the food served next. They're first going to start with a salad and then they'll bring out the main course. But until then, by the time the weekend kids go back to their places, inshallah, I want to share with you a story of one of these sahabis back during the Prophet ﷺ's time. Most of you know this story and it's shared in almost every fundraiser. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind the believers because the reminder helps the mu'mins, the believers. And this story is about the Sahabi, his name is Abi Dahdah. And one time there was a young boy, he went to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam complaining about his neighbor. Why was he complaining to his neighbor? Because this young boy was trying to build a fence for his house and a tree was crossing by. It was interrupting his fence. So he asked his neighbor if he can take this palm tree from him so he can continue the building of his fence. And this so-called Sahabi, or you know what, the Prophet later said he was a munafiq. I'm not sure if the Prophet said that, but anyway, he refused to give him this tree. So then the young boy went to the Prophet ﷺ and he complained to him and he said, this man won't give me this tree so I can continue building my fence. So the Rasul ﷺ called this man and he asked him, can you give this tree to this young boy and I will promise you a tree in Jannah, a palm tree in Jannah. And this man, he refused to give him this tree. So Abi Dahdah is his neighbor and he was sitting with the Prophet ﷺ while this incident was occurring. So he looked at the Prophet ﷺ, Abi Dahdah, he owned 600 palm trees. He owned one of the biggest palm tree lands in Medina. And he told the Prophet ﷺ and he said, O Messenger of Allah, if I give all my land to this young boy, will you promise me a tree in Jannah? And the Prophet ﷺ said, I will promise you a tree in Jannah. So this man, he gave up all his land, his 600 palm trees, for one tree in Jannah. And then when he went to his wife and he told her of this news that I sold all our land for one tree, imagine what the wife would have said. She probably would have went crazy. But Abi Dahdah's wife, her iman was as strong, and she says, Rabih al-bay'. You know, your purchase, your exchange was a win-worthy purchase. This is a great purchase, this is a great exchange. And you can see the sacrifice they took just for one tree in Jannah. So imagine today, inshallah, when you bring out your checkbooks, Think about the tree, or think about the bricks you're building for your palace in Jannah. So when you're thinking, should I donate 5 or 10? Think about your paradise. Think about your hereafter, because at the end of the day, we're not living more than 100 years. So remember this. Remember your hereafter. And inshallah, we're going to show a little PowerPoint presentation of pictures of the history of this masjid while your food is being served. Jazakallah khairan, and thank you.
Aşkınla çarpma, sensiz dünya bizlere dar. Selam sana ey kutlu yar, resurrection, faith and patience, you conveyed the message on the side through your guidance. Peace be upon my beloved, Ya Habibi, Ya Salam alayka, Ya Rasul, salam alayka, Ya Habib, salam alayka, salawat Allah alayka, Ya Habib, salam alayka, Ya Rasul, salam alayka, Ya Habib, salam alayka, salawat Every single day of my life within grace, I solemnly promise to try to live my life for you. You did provide my soul and show me light to my heart. So please, it's not how amazing it feels to love you. I wish that everyone could see how your love has set me free. Set me free and made me strong. Oh, I'm forever grateful to you. And when I say you'll never be enough, you gave me strength to overcome my uncertainties and stand firm against all the odds. You are the divine my soul. You show the light to my heart. So please, in you is now my only goal. Oh, love so.
Right here, bro. Put it right here. Put it on the corner. Yeah. No, then just take the hook. Yeah. And you think the top one is
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. If you can please support the weekend students, put together a bake sale over here in the main area. All the proceeds go to this masjid. Alhamdulillah, they're taking that proceeds and giving it to the masjid instead of the weekend school. So please go outside to their bake sale and support the masjid. Jazakallah khairan.
Take more transient and then feel like yourself again with a similar flame-like symptoms on your own. Blue-like symptoms, take a similar with the first sign. A similar vaccine.
I'm sorry for taking you for granted. Use every chance I get to make you smile. Whenever I'm around you, now I'm trying to love you, make you happy. Being gone, such a mean to me. If I could turn back time, I could make it understand what I would. I would make it unreal. It's a new day. People smile on my face every day. And it's not too late. People smile on my face every day. It's a new day. I like to put a smile on your face every day. And it's not too late. I like to put a smile on your face every day. The number one for me. The number one for me. The number one for me.
Brothers and sisters, if you're done with your food, please quietly, we have a hot tea, we have chai outside that you can help and serve yourself. But please come back inside quietly. Jazakallah khair.
ولا دراسة جدا وما شاء الله سجلت في أمريكا كان في أمريكا سواء وبعدين قاعدة نورين ونوراني وبعدين وحاول يعني عندي كثير شيء كبير وكان نسيت وبنتي داشتي شافرت السلام ايوه بشري بس السلام علي الله يوفق اولادي من خليج راح يجيبوا ان شاء الله ايوه امين ان شاء الله والله يعطيك الصحه وبعدين ان شاء الله
Sorry, we'll probably get started again in about 3 to 5 minutes. So, again, enjoy your dinner, and then we'll go get started in about 3 to 5 minutes.
Yes, no, maybe so. Come on, get you already.
Alright, if everyone can take your seats, if you're getting chai, go ahead and get your chai, and then please have a seat. We'll go ahead and get started with the next speakers in the fundraising Black Banquet. 1 minute count, 2 minute countdown. Okay, if everyone can take their seats, please, we're going to get started with more of our speakers and our program.
Wait, don't do it yet.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can I have your undivided attention? Inshallah, we're going to continue with the program. Inshallah, the food filled up your stomachs. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, it was good too. Let me get the head nods. Alhamdulillah, yes. Thanks to Fanus, alhamdulillah, for always giving us great deals and helping us put these fundraisers together in these events. So thank you to Fanus. When you see Brother Amir, please thank him, inshallah. Real quick, one of the weekend school students has something that he wants to say to all of you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the Al-Noor Islamic Weekend School, we would like to thank the board, the Quran Academy, especially Sheikh Anas Dawani and Brother Abid Baloj, because without them, we would not be here today. Thank you. Oh, and I would also like to thank Brother Hijazi. He's the coolest guy in IACSB.
Yeah, I made him say that. Inshallah, next. First of all, can I have your undivided attention, please? We want to continue with our program, and it would be very disrespectful for our next speaker coming up here when he came from a long distance and us being disrespectful while we're talking and we're eating. So brothers and sisters, please, can we calm down? Can I get your undivided attention? Brothers, can you close these two doors, the hallway doors? Zahid, can you close these two doors? Thank you. Inshallah, next we have our keynote speaker for today, Brother Muhammad Faqih. He is the Imam of Masjid Umar Farooq in Anaheim on State College Boulevard. I always take that exit whenever I have to catch a Dhuhr or Asr prayer. Sheikh Muhammad Faqih is the leader of that community, and mashallah, also a teacher to the Muslim youth of Orange County. If you guys can please give him his undivided attention.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. اللهم ما أمسى بنا من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر. Oh Allah, any blessings we have come to this point enjoying and using are all from you. For that we thank you and we praise you, O Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's peace and blessings be upon His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who taught us the true meaning of resilience and endurance, who, along with those who followed him, set a great example for us as a community. Their ability to get through hardships and difficulties, bounce back, and maintain the course is one of the most inspiring parts of our history. For the success of any community can only be ensured if that community has resilience and endurance. Now, I don't know whether to say, call you guys South Bay or call you Lameda. I'm used to calling this place Lameda. So no offense to anyone who may not directly, Lameda is the city, right? The South Bay is the fancy name of the whole area, mashallah. The South Bay basically includes multiple cities, right? And I see, mashallah, few familiar faces from different parts of this portion that we are very proud of in the Southern California community. We're very proud of what this community was able to accomplish. So when it comes to resilience, mashallah, this community has shown resilience. Now, resilience is just one test, right? There is another part of that test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests the believers, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests Muslim communities also with the ability to endure. Do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to get the job done. And this is a very, very tough one. Sometimes people may have the ability to overcome certain challenges and bounce back and get back on track after some kind of adversity or calamity. But they can only do it for so long. And then when they are not challenged anymore, when they don't have any issues anymore, they lose a sense of direction. And they can no longer endure long enough in the very values that they were fighting for. And this is one of the elements that scare me the most. One thing that I fear for the Muslim community is that we do very well when we face challenges. We come together, right? It brings out the Sahaba, the heroes. Brings out the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ out of us. But then, when things are good, or sometimes when we're done with 95% of the job, and we're at that final part, we become complacent and we lose focus. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ in a hadith narrated by Imam Muslim rahimahullah, Abu Hurairah tells us that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ shared with us or told us the following: المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف وفي كل خير. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, احرص على ما ينفعك واستعن بالله ولا تعجز وإن أصابك شيء فلا تقل لو كان كذا كان كذا وكذا ولكن قل قدر الله وما شاء فعل أو قدر الله وما شاء فعل. One of the most amazing prophetic statements that if we as individuals and as communities live by, we're going to get a lot accomplished. In this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ begins with a statement of fact. The Prophet says, Al-mu'min al-qawi, a strong believer, خير وأحب إلى الله, is better and dearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala من المؤمن الضعيف, from the weak believer. However, وفي كل خير, however, in both there is good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciates the believer even if he or she are weak. But the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions a statement of fact that Allah Azza wa Jalla indeed prefers a believer who is stronger. And the scholars, when you look at what the scholars have to say about this statement, what did the Prophet ﷺ mean by a strong believer? What makes a believer stronger than the other? Is it a physical strength? Is it a mental strength? Is it the financial strength? What type of strength was the Prophet ﷺ talking about? Of course, most of the scholars highlight and focus on the spiritual strength, the strength of the iman of that individual. But that kind of strength actually inspires a believer to be stronger in every aspect. What I know about iman is such a dynamic element that it causes a believer to excel in every aspect of life, do his or her best in everything, become better, and be the best they can be. So the Prophet ﷺ says that such a believer, due to the fact that he or she can protect themselves, but they can also take care of others and they can get the job for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the job that Allah entrusted us with, they can get that done at a better capacity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala considers them to be better, and they are better in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them preference. Okay. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in other words, is saying, be a strong believer. If you want to be loved by Allah, or if you want to be closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla, if you want to be better in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jalla, be as strong as you can be as a believer. And strength, the Prophet ﷺ defines in a different hadith, the strength to be the strength of resolve, the strength of character, that person who is able to control himself or herself. The Prophet ﷺ says that's a strong person. In a hadith, the Prophet asked the companions, who do you consider to be the strongest? They said a person who can overcome, a person who can beat everyone else, but no one can beat him. So the Prophet ﷺ said, no, it's not that. Anyone, sometimes you have people who are superior physically, but someone who is less stronger than them physically, they can, with their mental strength, can defeat them. So that doesn't really do it. The Prophet ﷺ says, الشديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. The strong believer is the believer who can control himself at times of anger. The strong believer is the believer who can contain himself. The strong believer is the believer who can keep her composure. The strong believer is a believer that can manage to regulate their emotion and maintain their equilibrium. The strong believer is a believer that keeps himself or herself in check at all times. Even when they're angry, they make sure that their statements, their actions are well calculated because they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watches them. And the opposite is true. A weak person is a person that loses it when they are provoked, when they're angry, when they are. And in today's world, and I hope I don't get myself in trouble for saying this, in today's world of social media, right, we're losing that strength. We're losing that strength that we get from coming together. Coming together like this, as opposed to just live streaming something and just watching it in our own spaces. Right? So a community that can resist the temptation to enjoy, individuals that can resist the temptation to enjoy their own space and their own privacy in the comfort of their homes, and still manage to come together because they have a strong bond that brings them out of these beautiful homes to come to a place that they came together to build, so they can remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they can remember who they are, so they can be reminded of their mission in life, so that they can attend to the needs of the next generation. A community that continues to do that is a strong community made of strong, believing men and women, and is worthy of being celebrated and is worthy of being saluted. And I have a sense that this particular community is one of these very unique few communities that we have in North America. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, "Ihris ala ma yanfa'uk." If you want to gain this strength, if you want to endure, because this is a long journey, it's a long journey. And this community has come a long way, and you still have a long way to go. And you have already produced. You didn't wait until you have a place as beautiful as this place in order for you to start having activities and programs and provide services. And I see now youth who are second and third generation, right? Am I right? I see people that grew up here, now they have their own children. It's just amazing. This is fascinating, right? There are figures that came out of this community that did a wonderful job. They did great for the Muslim community in North America, for the Ummah. Some we lost. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon them all. But their legacy stays. They're the product of this community. Right? So the Prophet ﷺ says that in order for you to continue to maintain your strength, ihris ala ma yanfa'uk. Cherish that which brings you benefit. That which is beneficial. That's that which works. Hold on to it. Don't change it, don't give it up. If anything, just make it better. And focus on that which brings you benefit. Don't waste your time with things that are not beneficial. Especially if you have conflict. Sometimes we may look at something and say, well, there is some benefit that comes out of this, but on the long run, is it really beneficial? Would it benefit us in dunya and akhirah as well? And if we can't benefit from it in dunya, would it benefit us in akhirah? Right? So the Prophet ﷺ says, wait and prioritize. Focus on that which benefits you. وَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَلَا تَعْجَزْ. Number 2, seek help in Allah Azza wa Jal and do not be incompetent. Don't be incompetent. Don't let your own fears incapacitate you. Don't let your own worries get in the way of your dreams. Don't let boredom or any negative feeling discourage you. And as I said, subhanAllah, someone might say, MashaAllah, this community has been going at it for a long time. You're almost there. And I hope this is going to be, inshallah ta'ala, one of the final steps in that direction. And I know that sometimes it gets exhausting, but we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford exhaustion. We are a community that finds strength even when we're tired. And I will give you an example. Just to kind of issue that the 2 elements I want to focus on, resilience and endurance. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ suffered, the Muslims with the Prophet ﷺ suffered a very, very painful, tragic defeat in Uhud. When the Messenger of Allah ﷺ made it back to Medina, they heard that Quraysh was regrouping and was considering another attack to come back and finish the job. I don't know if you all knew this. We all know that in Uhud, right? We lost, right? And the Prophet ﷺ was nearly killed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him and protected him. 70 of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were slain. Many more were wounded. Right? And it was a very, very, very heavy loss. So now the survivors go back, and then Quraysh thought they have avenged themselves, but then they thought to themselves halfway to Mecca that, wait a minute, we could have just finished them, so let's go back and finish them. As they were contemplating that, the news came to the Prophet ﷺ. And the Messenger of Allah ﷺ summoned the companions. He ordered the survivors to come out. And he said, only those who were with us in the battle should join us. We're not taking a reinforcement. Only those who understand the pain of this loss, those who experienced it. Only those who were able to survive, come out of that painful experience alive, will join me and will go after them. And the Prophet ﷺ told the companions to get up. And many of them were wounded. Many of them were fatigued. They were tired. So they got up. None of them hesitated. They didn't say, well, we were challenged. We went through a lot. And now we're being called again to give, contribute. One more time. We're being pushed to our limits. It's Allah and His Messenger calling us. They understand the cause. They understand what lays beyond this. One of them, who didn't make it out of the battlefield, by the name of Anas ibn Nadir, he missed a chance to be with the Prophet in Badr. So he told the Prophet, if Allah allows me to be there on another occasion, I will show Allah what I'm going to do. Was fleeing the battle, another was charging. And Sa'd ibn Mu'adh saw him and he said, where are you going? Everybody's heading the opposite direction. He said, Al-Jannah. I'm going to Jannah. And he said, Sa'd, by Allah, I can smell it. He had an appointment in Jannah and he didn't want to miss it. And he made it. Radiallahu anhu. Right? So those who witnessed this but survived it, it wasn't their time. They said, we're going back. We're going back. And Allah, and guess what? They didn't have to fight a battle. Actually, the Meccans knew that they cannot face him again. Though they were fatigued, they were tired, they were outnumbered, and they were bleeding. They were bleeding physically, not financially, not emotionally, not mentally. They were bleeding physically. Allah Azza wa Jalla praised them. الذين استجابوا لله والرسول من بعد ما أصابهم القرح. Those who responded to the call of Allah and His Messenger after they have been hurt and injured, after they have been wounded, after their enemies have, thought that they have weakened them, and they have just, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them great reward. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is them. This is resilience. And endurance is the fact that they actually continue to do what they had to do for as long as it takes. So, wasta'in billahi wa la ta'jiz, ask for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help and do not be incompetent. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and then if something happens, if things don't go as planned, can I be just little, can I take the liberty if things don't go as planned, as projected, the Prophet ﷺ says, don't say, oh, had I done this, it would have been this or that. وَلَكِنْ قُلْ, because that is self-defeating. That can, and unfortunately we do have that. As human beings, we have this weakness. And the Muslim community is not immune to this. Had we done this, have we done that? Why we should have done this. So the Prophet ﷺ said, don't do this. This is not healthy. Do your best, and then if something doesn't go as planned, if something goes wrong, right? Assess the situation, but don't dwell over the past. People crucify themselves between the worries about the future and regret of the past. And they miss golden opportunities. And this is not what the Prophet ﷺ wanted us to do. He wanted us to move on. So the Prophet said, don't dwell over it. Don't say that. وَلَكِنْ instead say, قَدَرُ اللَّهِ وَمَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. It's the will of Allah, and Allah's will took place. And move forward. So moving forward, inshallah ta'ala, I am honored to be here tonight with you, inshallah, to make an appeal on behalf of whatever is left of this masjid, inshallah. My understanding is that, subhanAllah, by the way, just finishing the building is just one thing. The masjid needs to function as a center, as it was intended to be, right? MashaAllah, as I said again, what is beautiful about this community is the fact that when it comes to, like this center was a youth center before it was even completed. With the limited resources, and I remember the building that is no longer there, which was shocking to me, when I was like, oh my God, I remember some memories there, right? So this is a community that did not wait for the facility to be completed. They did not wait. Sometimes people, they have to have everything in place before they even start something. I know cases of communities where they build the facility and they're like, okay, what do we do with it now? And figuring out what to do with it takes sometimes years. This is a community that started doing what needs to be done in a community center before even the center or the facility itself was built, right? And if anything, you're kin of it. So this is something that you basically invest into for your akhirah and then wait for it to start generating. There's already hasanat. There's a cash flow. Right. This is an existing continuous charity. This is a charity that continues to grow and give back. And what we saw today, when we saw the youth here, is a great example. By the way, and I'm not exaggerating, not even in my own message, I don't know of any other community that has many youth in their center here in Southern California. Wallahi, I'm trying to think hard just to see, right? And I have been to this masjid at various, times, just randomly, sometimes on the weekend, come pray Maghrib or something. And there are always young people around, right? So, and again, I don't know of any community where you get that sense of community. So, so my target tonight, I was told, should be, yes. Oh, don't you love videos? Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, khalas, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm told that we're going to be showing a video, and then after the video, inshallah ta'ala, we'll do the fundraiser. Don't go anywhere, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's not over. It just has begun. But inshallah, we want to play a video for you guys, inshallah. Just give me 1 minute. I want to change the batteries to this microphone. If you guys can all, I already have it. If you guys can all turn your heads towards the television, inshallah, the TVs.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this short presentation, we'd like to share with you some updates about the construction project of the Islamic Center of South. What is important is to realize construction project, it is transformation of the community, transformation of the facilities, so transformation in attitude. Struggle with the city of Lamida, because in 2013 the refinery received approval, but the construction project really didn't start in 2015 because we had to go through a number of other permits. It's important to mention that beginning this project, phase-based project, the cash to start construction, and as we signed a project, starting from the very beginning, contract, found that we don't have insufficient funding to start the project. And it was through a number of activities, including through the appeal to the commission from contributors in our community, that we finally managed to get where we are right now. One of the opportunities we have, you can see the anxious eyes of a young child who's looking for this summer fundraising. In this last several moments, remember this momentum of the board members who were desperate for that no liens on the property, and we are on the payments to the contractors from the board who was very anxious to get the facilities for children, and the teachers as well as the sisters who wanted the place so the children really had to stay at home. Finally, the construction started. From the time that for the demolition to the time that we had the exhibition to the time we had to build the framing and the structure and coming a very solid for a building that inshallah will last years for to the point that alhamdulillah we all gathered here and the promise that we have in this building. I'm sure you're all anxious to know what will it cost to bring this building to the point that it is right now. That what we built here is something we can count generations before. find out how that, our average construction cost has been about $385 per square feet. And you can see how it ranges from the very simple construction. You can put yourself in concrete construction. It's the floor, there's a building, and roofing, in terms of the doors and windows, and the facilities. And all that need that is actually that part of 14,400 square feet. You know, finalized is in the range of about $5.5 million. You could average out to about $305 per square feet. Gives a breakdown of various cost items from small values such as furniture, roofing, green, function, framing, and filling. The red sections indicate the dollar values that should go to the contractors. We are very concerned making sure that many of these connection agencies calling us or putting lien on the property. The green indicate what is left in terms of interest-free loans that have been given to us by the community. We have about $500,000 that inshallah will pay. Our credit has been very good over the last 32 years. Every time we obtain as a Hassanah, we pay it back. So what is really left is what we owe to the contractors to get all of the odds and ends finished up.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, brothers and sisters. Maybe you didn't see the video too well. However, inshallah, we will post it on YouTube and it'll give you the detailed information. We're sorry for the last minute. Again, the people who put it together tried their hardest. They are volunteers. Everybody tried their hardest. And thank them. All the information, we will upload it on YouTube and we will send it on a link on our emails weekly. Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you. So, I mean, without you see the fact numbers. So, and this is the final portion. I didn't realize, that California is an interesting place to be in. Beautiful. So we're very blessed. The cost of construction is very, very high. And we live in a time where we have to pay someone to do it. We can't do it ourselves if we wanted to, right? So it's gonna come at a cost if you want to do a good job, if you want to produce something of quality. And I think our communities and our children and grandchildren deserve quality. Keep in mind that this is something that you do for the next 50 to 100 years, right? Long after we're gone, there will be people, inshallah ta'ala, celebrating in this place. Long after we're gone, right? And I don't know if they're going to have the same stamina that people like Mirza Uncle have. So, or maybe they're just gonna have robots do things for them, by then. But now it's our time, it's our opportunity to leave something behind, so that when we're not around, when our names are forgotten, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the virtue and by the barakah of this moment, will record that for us, and it will continue to come, to us, to our graves, inshallah ta'ala, in a better place than the places that we leave behind. So having said that, inshallah ta'ala, who would like to be the first person? What? What do we have? MashaAllah. So 300,000, I think we can, if we can have if we're gonna have 30 people with 10,000 each, I think we'll be done, right? Just that's it. We continue to go again to get more chai, inshallah ta'ala, and call it a night, inshallah, by the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. By the way, one thing that a lot of us sometimes we kind of forget is that when the masjid owes, the masjid has to pay back. So regular donations, weekly donations, or regular donations cannot, do that. When I went to Masjid Umar, when I came, there was like $2.7 million debt, right? And the community was able to take care of it within 2 years because they were told that we can't. I mean, to me, one notion that I find to be very disturbing is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being in debt to any human being. And I remember I told them that I can't see myself purchasing a house when, by the way, it was a lot less back then. I wish I had done it. Or, paying off something before I pay off the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to take care of this, right? So that it's for Allah, complete, free, debt-free. So, inshallah ta'ala, who would like to be the first person, inshallah, give us $10,000? يوفى إليكم وأنتم لا تظلمون. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give it back to you in many folds, and you will not be wronged. Who would like to be the first person, the first family, the first hand to be raised for this amount? And you can always send a note. I understand that sometimes we don't want to raise our hands or make this public, which is completely fine and understandable. So I would like to believe that there is, inshallah ta'ala, someone that will be able, inshallah ta'ala, to lend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to lend the house of Allah Azza wa Jalla $10,000 that they would collect from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah, inshallah, in a better place. Who would like to be that first person? Inshallah, show of hand, raise of hand. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma a'tihim. وَكْفِيهِمْ يَا رَبَّ الْعَالَمِينَ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala suffice you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Say Ameen. Who would like to be the second person, inshallah, to come to the rescue of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And bear in mind, I tell people that when you invest in a masjid, right, you're actually investing in multiple funds for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're helping the masakin, you're helping the youth, you're helping people who come to seek guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Everyone that walks into this masjid who learns something about Allah and His Messenger, everyone that is going to be inspired, it's not only in terms of ibadah, because sometimes we think, okay, I'm just basically I'm helping facilitate the ibadah of people. We can pray anywhere, right? So it's not only the ibadah, but it's a lot of other things that happen in a masajid that you will receive. Like I may not, you may not be able to yourself go and invite people to come learn about Islam and Muslims, but the masjid does it, and you facilitate that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for it. So who would like to be the second person, inshallah azza wa jalla, to take a share in tonight's? Okay, why don't we look for 20 people with 5,000 each? How about that? Do we have 20 people with 5,000 each, inshallah? And again, this can be done in a pledge form for a whole year, right? You do your intention now. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you and help you fulfill it, right? But you pay as much as you can of it, as soon as you can. But, sometimes people might think, okay, I don't have 5,000 now. Yeah, but 500 a month over the next 10 months goes in a blink of an eye. The time will, and you'll be done with your commitment, inshallah ta'ala. So who would like the second person? Do we have a second hand family? Mother-in-law? Yeah. Hey, I'll pass on the microphone to Sheikh Tariq. You know, if he comes here and he's, you know, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a tough experience to say no. You can't say no to, you know, Sheikh Tariq. Yeah. So let's see. Do we have one more person with 5,000? One more 5,000. Again, طيب. We're gonna bring in reinforcement here.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد ومن والاه وعلى التابعين وتابعين بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. All the thanks and glory and excellence due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the world. I am being witness there is no God but Allah and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the final and sealing prophet for all mankind. I am asking the sisters and brothers, if you give me your back, please turn off a little bit. I mean, look at me. Because probably, you know, I'm just worried about your neck a little bit to just keep, you know, looking. So look at us, inshallah. And I'm asking last question. Please, 1 second, 2 seconds, stand up. So I know the food sometimes, you know, go into take all the blood from the brain. So please, Bismillah, inshallah, stop and just move, yeah, mashallah. And the brothers here, please. Yeah, please, just look at me here and do give me your back, please. I want to see your face. Beautiful face. Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair. Have a seat, please. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you all. I'm gonna borrow one sentence from one of our youngsters. He said, because of you. Because of what? Because of you. I'm gonna just comment that with the one question. Do you know who are you? Do you really know who are you? Brother and sister, do you know who are you? Muslim? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But let me tell you this. I try to answer that questions to readdress who are you really? Who are you? You are the son and daughter of Ibrahim alayhi salam. You are son and daughter of Ibrahim alayhi salam. The one he left his son and his wife in the middle of the desert because La ilaha illallah. Do you know who are you? Because you are the son and daughter of Ismail alayhi salam, very young youth. And because La ilaha illallah, he willing to give his life just to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you know who are you? Because you are the son and daughter of Hajar alayhi salam. She doesn't mind to stay in the middle of the desert to establish ummah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Do you know who are you? Please stay with me. Look at me. Let's answer that questions together. I want your ear hearing me. I want your heart to feel which road you're taking, which ummah you belong to. You are the son of daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The one in the day of Uhud, like my dear Sheikh, he said, and we lost in that battle. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he dropped in the little area and he stand up, all his face is bloody, and he harmed and he broke his teeth. And he raised his hand, Allahumma hdi qawmi, فإنهم لا يعلمون. Oh Allah, guide my people because they didn't know. Abu Bakr, he said, radiallahu anhu, he said, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his hand, we get scared because he gonna say da'wah among his ummah. So we get scared, but because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the mercy, he said, Allahumma hdi qawmi. Oh Allah, guide my people. You are the son of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You are the son of Umar. You are the son of Aisha. You are the daughter of Aisha. The one she gave her life for La ilaha illallah. Muhammad Rasulullah. And today, Sheikh Muhammad, you're talking about $10,000? I believe some people here can give $100,000. Wallahi, I have a hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that some people here can give $100,000 and we didn't even care. Because I'm not asking your life. I'm not asking to leave your son in the middle of the desert. I'm not asking yourself to kill your son, astaghfirullah. No, I'm asking you to walk in the same road of Muhammad, same road of Ibrahim alayhi salam, same road of Hajar and Ismail alayhi salam. You're coming from this ummah, and we need to continue. You building and you writing history. Take advantage. Take advantage today you're alive, tomorrow you're not. Take advantage today you have money, tomorrow you're not. Take advantage today you have health to give, tomorrow you're not. We need to take advantage, dear brother and sister. So I gotta respect the way, the rules that the brother Sheikh Muhammad started and stop over there with $5,000. You kidding me? To write history, to establish this beautiful center, $5,000? Allahu Akbar. And I want to continue, inshallah ta'ala. Who's going to raise his hand for another $5,000? And let me tell you that before you write your check. Hold it for a second. Hold it for a second. You're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He promised. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He promised. He swear. He said, Wallahi, Wallahi by Allah, there is no sadaqah. It's make your levels or your money less. Wallahi. Do you believe in Him? Sadaqa Allah? Sadaqa Rasulullah? Yes. So I need some people before you write your check, think about twice and 3 times. And I'm gonna give $5,000 to Allah Ta'ala for the cause of Ibrahim, for cause of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Just like Ibrahim alayhi salam, he gave his son, and Ismail alayhi salam gave his soul, and Hajar alayhi salam gave herself to establish ummah. You're going to inshallah continue building this community. Tomorrow you and I are going to go, but the things inshallah, the masjid and the sadaqah jariyah, it's going to stay right there. Every day you raise your degree in the Jannah. Every day in the grave you're going to say, Ya Allah, from all this hasanat coming from. So do you remember? This is the sadaqah you give in that night, dear brother and sister. There is no value in the life of the Muslim more than La ilaha illallah. And the masjid doing it. We need some people here, inshallah, raise the hand and say another $5,000. Bismillah. Anyone, even if 2 sisters together, inshallah, even if one family. If you decide to give, you did already give $5,000, give another one more. Wallahi, it's not expensive for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone with the $5,000. I know you write the check already, but do not shut down the door. Wallahi, today is the door of the Jannah open, tomorrow maybe not. Take advantage. Another $5,000, dear brothers. Bismillah. Anyone here can be an as-sabiqun. Anyone here from the people, he lead the people to the Jannah. You know, a lot of people be very scared to spend. But subhanAllah, as soon as somebody open, he encourage other. He get jealous, and the people get jealous. We as a Muslim get jealous. We get jealous that why he spend more than me? Why he gonna run into the Jannah more than you or before than me? Why he gonna have a degree better than me? Why not? Why I'm not there? Inshallah ta'ala. Another $5,000 and the last $5,000 before to move. Before we close that. Bismillah. Bismillah. Not. Okay. How about it's good? Telling me just to start with 2.5. Do you like 2.5 numbers? 2,500? 2,500? Okay, let's just start with $2,500. Anybody raise his hand, inshallah, bismillah. Even family, you can do it payment. $100 a month for 25 payments. And if you continue it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless it. If it's not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still give you the reward. $2,500. Bismillah. Don't be shy. In tubdu sadaqat, if you show the sadaqah, the sister over there, the young sister over there, she's raising her hand, or I'm wrong. And the brother over there, listen, don't scratch your head, please. I'm gonna count in that. Already. $2,500, dear brother and sister. Okay, well, let's have that whole divided by 2. Let's ask this side first. I need $2,500 and raise your hand. Inshallah ta'ala, for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As-sadaqat, dear brother and sister, is a lot of blessing. In this side here, if you have someone sick in your family, give sadaqah in his behalf. If you worry about the income so much, give sadaqah. Inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will reward it and increase it for you. This side here. Anyone give it $2,500? How about $2,000? Only $2,000. You have a $500 discount tonight. Here. Inshallah, bismillah. You put it in the masjid, sadaqah jariyah. Any $2,000 here? Inshallah, this side, inshallah, doesn't put me down, inshallah. So you guys, anyone? Last call. $2,000 in this side here. Okay, nobody. Let's go here. Let's go here on this side, inshallah, bismillah. $2,000 from all the way back to here, to the front. Only $2,000. 20 payment or 10 payment for $200 a month to building the house of Allah, to write history, to teach your kids Quran, to protect the generation of the Muslim, the identity that we all worry about. Anyone here $2,000, brother and sister? Anyone? Did you write your check already? You don't want to think twice about it? Anyone? Anyone in the general? No? Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alhamdulillah. We're going to go for the $1,000. And I do believe everybody able to do this. By the way, don't be shy to raise your hand. Don't think the people are going to hand you for next fundraising and they say, okay, this sister, she paid $1,000, so maybe we're going to focus on her. Don't be shy. Just think positively that you lead others to donate. $1,000 here? Anyone with $1,000? Anyone? Bismillah? Anyone? I love the community. By the way, we're always silent, but in the end of the night, we make the numbers. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We're always silent. But believe me, encourage others. Raise your hand. And I'm not going to tell anybody about you. Okay. Anybody here? Can I see anybody behind the... No? $1,000. Raise your hand. Anybody? $1,000? How much for Abraham? Oh, $50,000? Okay, we have a long night today. Close the door, please, and make sure nobody. We're gonna start all over again from $10,000. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go for $1,000. Really, we need this money. We need this money to put in and pay the contract we still owe. And let me tell you guys, you coming from a long way back. You spend a lot of money and a lot of energy already. And believe me, La ilaha illallah is worth a lot. It's worth than your life, my life. We as a Muslim believer, we give it with happiness to bring victory in Islam. So $1,000, I need probably like 5 people to give 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. What happened? Allahu Akbar. May Allah bless you, man. Finally, somebody answered me right there. Payment, no problem. Let me tell you this. Even if you made $1 a month, let me tell you, the brothers, the barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming to you in your health, in your children, in your month, in your wealth, and your house, as long as you try. Nobody asking you, nobody forcing you, but we're giving this with happiness. The only believer, the only son of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the only son of Ismail alayhi salam, they feel very sweet and nice when they spend because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other people, they feel, it's too heavy. You don't like it. They do it because of probably income tax. No, we don't do that. We do it with happiness. That we're doing that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He calling me. Because the door is open and I don't want to lose it. So inshallah ta'ala, we need another one who has something. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We're going to make a beautiful dua for you. Sister, Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this sadaqah as a protection and shelter of the hellfire, inshallah ta'ala. And enter you the paradise, Allahu Akbar. Anybody else with $1,000? Bismillah. Look, the sister start. I don't mean anything about the brothers, but the sister always right there, writing history, building masjid, building generation, protecting this ummah. You are the daughter of Hajar alayhi salam. You are the daughter of Aisha alayhi salam. And say Ameen, inshallah you're going to be on. Another one with $1,000. Jazakumullah khair, my dear sister. May Allah bless you and your kids, Allahumma ameen, and your husband and your family, Allahumma ameen. Anybody with $1,100 a month? That's beautiful, huh? Anyone here have a problem with his kids? Give sadaqah. If you have a problem with your wife, give sadaqah. If you have a problem with, if she have a problem with her husband, give sadaqah, double sadaqah. You're gonna be alright. It's gonna be tomorrow's gonna be Prince. Treat you gentle. He's gonna bring flour. He's gonna do everything good. So how about that? We need people to give $1,000 more. $1,000 is not too much, and especially for house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. $1,000. Don't feel like that the hand is too heavy. Believe me, it's very easy. Allahu Akbar. Anyone? Okay. We're gonna go for a number. You cannot say no for it. We can go.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, my brothers and sisters. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and protect you. On behalf of the staff of Al Weekend School, as usual, they, mashallah, they have made today $1,700 by big sale. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them and accept it from them. And Ayan and Shuaib will do inshallah to give it to Brother Tariq and to make dua for the donors, for the staff, for the families, for the parents, for the students.
Well, if you plan to give your kids any money to donate, first of all, this is a great behave. This is absolutely teaching the kids how to give them life and money to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a beautiful baby. If you plan to give your kids something, please let them come over here, and we need to finish the level of $500 first. $500, inshallah. Anybody with the $500? Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. From you? Oh, he asking. He helping me, guys. So come on, brother, here. So what when you tell if you have a $500, can you give it to us?
I don't have any, but yes.
Allahu Akbar. But what about some people here have a $500 and they want to give it to Allah? What do you want to tell them?
I don't know.
What you do with tell them what? Give them the $5 for Allah. Okay. Well, the brother, he doesn't have a $500. How much you have in your bucket right now? Zero? Can you give me zero? Well, he doesn't have a $500, guys. But what about some brother and sister here have a $500? So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, raise your hand with the $500. How about the brothers, they want to get married? Yes. The brothers, they want to get married. Just give $500 and make dua, because wallahi, it's true. After the sadaqah, in the time of dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts your dua. After the sadaqah. $500 and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the excellent husband or excellent wife. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Ameen. Anybody? Allahu Akbar. Say takbir. I'm telling you, the food is too heavy, Sheikh. Why you give him, you should ask him what, Jazakumullah khair. What's your name? Is this from you or somebody? So, okay, Jazakumullah khair. Okay. Well, I consider it from both. You and somebody. Okay, you want to say something? Okay, $250. Now I'm telling you this, nobody gonna leave tonight until give $250, and you can't do it. I'm telling you, sister, you're buying something and they're gonna come and ask you here for 250. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. $250. Anybody? Bismillah. Huh? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Huh? Bismillah. $250. Anybody there? Anybody there? Well, let me tell you this. Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, and you all know that. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he called for donation for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everybody was silent, just like we are right now. But Uthman, la. Uthman, no. Uthman, every time Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he called, he doesn't want the hand of a prophet go down empty. He said, I am, O Prophet of Allah, I give this. I am, O Prophet of Allah, I give this. I am not a Prophet of Allah, but I am just standing in his place right now and asking and calling everybody to give $250. Allahu Akbar. Say Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, my dear little young lady. Thank you very much. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah bless you. Jazakumullahu khairan. $250 is very easy. Inshallah ta'ala. Huh? Anybody? You can do it. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Come here, my little hand. Come on here. MashaAllah. $250 here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the best husband ever, but grown up. Inshallah. Okay. Anybody else? So this is for her. Oh, mashallah. Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair. Allahumma ya Rabbana, yani, take care of them, raise them in your eyes, Ya Allah. Allahumma ameen. Ameen. Anybody with the 250? That's you? You do it like that? Okay. Okay. Don't do this again. Okay. All right. Any $250 here? $250. Bismillah. The sister, what happened this time? Last time I do remember the youngsters, they were very enthusiastic to give in the cause of Allah. Don't give up. Give today, and inshallah after fundraising, you give again. And don't worry, Allah He doesn't make mistakes with the math. Allah He doesn't make mistake with the math. Always He account what you're doing and what you're giving, and He multiply and He give you barakah, and wallahi, He take away a lot of things. Sickness, take it away. Barakah in the kids, give it to you. So we'll need $250 more. How many times we still have, Sheikh? 1 minute more. Let me close up with this. Okay. I understand. You guys donate for this as Masjid a lot. But let me tell you this. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is spending you every day. So every time we have a fundraising, don't say I give enough. Never stop in this situation and say I give enough. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showering you every day with barakah and income, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's seeing you, He's watching you. So inshallah ta'ala, the last call, mashallah, mashallah, bismillah, mashallah. And this is from you. May Allah bless you. What's your name? Fatima. Bless you, Fatima, and Jazakallah khair, and thank you for helping. And this is Sadaqah Jariyah. May Allah bless your father and mother because they raise you that way. Jazakallah khairan. Ma'alish, Sheikh, give me a second. I'm just gonna make the last call about $100 only. $100 only. Before you leave, just take it, dig in your hand in your bucket, take $100 and leave it. And say, Ya Allah, more than this right now. And I'm shy to flash the front of the people. So Ya Allah, accept it from me. But before you give it, make what? Make what? Make dua. Because the dua, dear brother and sister, Allah accepts immediately after the sadaqah. Allahumma ya Hannan ya Mannan ya Dhal Arsh al-Majid. Ya Fa'ad lima yurid. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan ya Rabb. اللهم أعطي منفقا خلف. اللهم أنفق على من أنفق على المسجد يا رب العالمين. اللهم أنفق عليه. اللهم بارك له في صحته وفي أولاده وفي زوجه وفي أهله يا رب العالمين. اللهم احفظهم من كل مكروه وسوء واجعل هذه الصدقة برهانا ووجاء لهم من النار يوم القيامة وارفع درجتهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب كل عمل يقربنا إلى محبتك. Oh Allah, we ask your love and the love for who those you love, and make us among the people you love. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullah khairan, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. And just wait for a few seconds more to come hear from Brother Mirza. Jazakumullah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Isha time is coming, so my conversation with you is going to be short. We need a special dua to argue with this system. So, on one hand, he got ill, on the other hand, he's in Belize, and as a result, we have difficulties today in the video. But inshallah, this is not the last fundraiser. It's a lifelong project. Sunnah teaches us that day and night we should be giving. So we'll get together again. Inshallah, we'll do a better job. But to whatever extent, through the video, you got the information. Alhamdulillah, a transformation has taken place in the Muslim community of the South Bay. The spirit of cooperation is at an all-time high. So I'm here to report to you close to 4.7 million. It's all recorded. It's in the books. It's in the computers. You have given to build this center. That is the money which came in and deposited in the bank. And that is the money which has been spent to bring this quality building to this point. Details of all the expenditures in all different departments is available, clearly categorized. So inshallah, it will come forward to you. Some of it you saw in the video. Number of community members is stepping forward is on the increase. That means more and more people are participating now, mashallah. You saw the evidence today since this morning throughout the day. Several seminars were being conducted, and mashallah, community is benefiting. PMO, Program Management Organization, that is the backbone of our community. I'm here to inform you, many massages have been built, 3 stories. $8.5 million got spent, and the money is shutting it down. You know why? Because they were too busy building the building. They didn't pay attention who's going to come inside the building. Here we are, nobody. We brought in $4.7 million with your strength, with your giving. And along with that, we built the community. The center is being transferred in the hands of young professionals now, mashallah. Takbir. This program today and the 4 previous programs were completely run and organized by the PMO. Don't forget Ruby Mahida. Ruby, get up. Say Assalamu alaikum. She's sitting right here. MashaAllah, the young people came forward and gave a hand to build this center. So, we have formed a good alliance with several members of the community who are taking over. Tonight, I'm inviting every one of you to join this caravan. Not only your financial support has made this dream come true, your time and effort to help in the activities has been extremely beneficial. We are in the process of forming the committees. So all the community members are invited to join different committees. The Dafan committee, the Janaza committee, the Nikah committee, the social. Give your email so you could be informed of what's going on. Backbone of this masjid is your weekend school and is your Quran Academy. And mashallah, look at the result they produce. At present, we have 150 students enrolled in the weekend school. And likewise, we have 150 students in the Quran Academy. MashaAllah. If you're out there with business skills, come and help your masjid as it is forming the basis of Al-Nur Foundation. If you're out there with math, science and engineering skills, come and help the children and youth in their after-school activities. If you are an MD, come and run weekend clinic for the community at large. Through this foundation, the goal is to reach the higher levels that can allow. We will be, inshallah, building the daycare center, a school for children, full-time school for children, education for adults, ghusl facilities, thrift store, social services, soup kitchen, Quran college, and foster children health. Revenue for operational costs of the center has to be generated. After all, I hope many of you consider as a lasting contribution naming the Al-Nur Foundation in your wills and trusts. At this moment, I want you to know that the community is thankful for your financial help. With any amount you should continue to give. The fundraising tonight is a serious issue as we must get the final permit without having any outstanding claim of unpaid bills on the property. If you're all helpful, inshallah, in late November, we will get the permit and we can then have a major celebration. Lot of members of this community, Amir Bhai is here. Amir Bhai says, Assalamu alaikum. Come over here with me. Come on over here. Dr. Ishagi, come here for a second. Dr. Ishagi, the backbone of this center, mashallah, right from the inception. And Amir Bhai, and there are several of them.
نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. My respected Muslim brothers and sisters, I have involvement with this Islamic Center of South Bay since 1980. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have found somebody, I'm not trying to praise him, my good friend, Brother Birsa. I want to assure you, those who are armchair critic, those who are sitting there and gossiping something which has no truth at all. My friend, I will invite you to come down to Masjid 7 o'clock. My friend is here. I am very much thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to suit this building. Those who are here, who has not chance to see the building, kindly stand up, look around, and forget your criticism. Right now, you have seen our children. In my lifetime, I have never seen such a trained children, such a trained teacher. May Allah bless you all. We have no effort to give it to you. We have no money to give it to you. Because at this moment, we have light bill to pay, we have water bill to pay, we have a salary to pay, and unfortunately, we used to have a 2 apartment next door. We have lost almost $16,000. My brother and sister in Islam, you don't have to go to Saudi Arabia to seek them money. You are right here, and I will urge you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept you. Please help our center, whatever you can. If you are a teacher, if you are an engineer, please come down and train our students. I don't have much to say. Only thing I will pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this masjid remain with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, flourish, and people like us have a chance to come and pray. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ishagi will give his final words, inshallah, and then Qari Anas is going to say the dua.
Assalamu alaikum. I don't know how serious he took his fundraising. It's extremely serious. I know all of you contributed to the extent you can, but I really think it's very important that you go out there and find anybody you can get to help us. Because what has happened is the business of building a masjid, I'm learning a lot from Brother Mirza. It's not that we have money and we spend it. We sign contract when we don't have money. We hope we have another fundraiser. Then we raise some fund. If you see the statistic you have in your program, is always a fraction of what we have seen. So we're always behind. Now, gradually, I mean, Brother Mirza gradually is beginning to share this with me. We are getting notices from collection agencies. We are getting notices on leave. Now, the city has told us, unless we remove all of that, they're not going to give us a permit. So this is a serious stuff. So as you leave this tonight, please take it upon yourself to talk to anybody you can and come back with a full hand. Inshallah, within the next couple of weeks, we raise whatever is needed. If you can raise a $300,000, inshallah, by the end of November, we will get the permit from the city and inshallah celebrate. So please take this matter very seriously for the masjid. You don't want to have a lien on the masjid. You don't want to have any collection agents come to the masjid. It's not good for our reputation. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Jimmy, come over here. Get over here. Okay, so you got the message? MashaAllah. Jimmy not saying anything tells a lot. Alhamdulillah, the PMO and Rehana, you want to say something? Come on. These people are working day and night tirelessly, mashallah, putting things together. Next week we will be forming, Next week we will be forming, inshallah, many committees, and all the committee members and volunteers will be invited to attend, get trained, and inshallah, lift the center up.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm tired, and I just want to request you to help this masjid. If not today, tomorrow, whenever you can, but before November, I think November is mid-November. Because this is our masjid, your masjid, and this masjid is for our younger generation who needs Islamic education, who needs a place to socialize, who needs a place where they can intermingle with their peers and friends. And I request you to please help this masjid and be part of this masjid. And I was not prepared, Brother Mirza, but I'm requesting, appealing to do whatever you can for this masjid, because this is our masjid, this is our home, and this is the place of worship where we come together and worship Allah, make du'as for everybody, and come and help us. Thank you.
Rohan, get up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said very clearly, I recruit people, get over here. That I recruit people and give talent. Here's a talented person.
Assalamu alaikum. All I have to say is, I think with a good management and with foresight, we have brought together a good team and good ideas with the PMO. And I should thank the PMO. You wouldn't believe it. My phone is witness. You can see the text messages back and forth. Sister Jabeen has been like till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We get text messages going back and forth from various committees. We have formed for each thing, decoration committee, the program committee, the IT committee, and every committee is on fire. So I request and urge all of you in some way or the other, if you all can contribute, and we have other volunteers who come and help us over and over again. And I request every one of you, if you all can spare a little time and come and help and take the weight of some of these people who work on a regular basis. And Sister Jabeen is putting up another program, another part of this year, the Sira conference. So all of these things we are trying to make this masjid a magnet masjid for everyone in the South Bay area to come here to seek knowledge, to share their experiences, and also take part in the leadership. And please, all these are possible for us to do only if you all help us build this masjid. And if you come here on a day where we have activities, you'll be amazed to see this is like a hive of activity in this place. Like our catering committee, they have once a month food drive for the homeless. And if you see that, you'll be amazed. Like kids from the age of 5, 6 to seniors, they all come and they want to be a part of it. MashaAllah, these are the things that we are looking forward for. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
There are people behind the scene. Board of directors are your servants, your workers, like a busy bee. Anwar, get over here next to me. I'm going to come and get you. Get over here. That's my little brother, so I can yell at him. Anwar, get here, yeah. He's so shy. Come on. So there's a group of people inside. Ask them to come forward for a minute. Here. Nasser.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming on. Inshallah, we're going to build this masjid. Help us with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you for everything.
So Abid Ali and Arif, Khandada, get over here. We don't get together too often, so I want to make sure you see the faces in case you forget who is who. While Khandada and these people are coming over here, I should tell you at the end of this hall, there's a person sitting here without anybody noticing. He wants to make sure nobody sees him. He comes every single week, vacuums the entire prayer hall, the main floor, and then goes to the top floor. Farooq, don't hide. Come over here. Just so you know who built this building, where it came from, what happened here 30 years later. There was no hope, and all of a sudden we have a majestic building. We have a building because these people tirelessly, free of charge, day and night, dame, darame, sokhne, no matter which way they can help. They just help. You know, there's a guy who gives up all the vacuum cleaners free to us, and then comes on the top of that and vacuums everything free. And now his son is following his footsteps, mashallah. Takbir. So, where's Abid Billosh hiding?
He's counting.
So there are people, they're counting money. There are people like Arif Sheikh,